One piece of wisdom that came out of the Great Depression was the saying, use it up, wear it out, make it do, or do without. The people who lived through this time period were well known for their creativity in reusing things to make other things that they needed. This is in direct contrast to our culture today, which is very much about instant gratification and the next new thing, rather than maintaining and being content with the things that we already have. So let's look at some ways we can use this old saying to get the most value of some things that we use on a regular basis and make them last longer. First, boost your gas mileage a little bit by pumping your gas more slowly. If you squeeze the handle really tightly while you're at the pump, it will fill your car up faster, but some of that gas will turn into vapor, which will leave you with a little bit less than what you paid for. But if you put the handle on the auto pump position, which is the first position on the handle, your car will fill up a bit more slowly, but it will eliminate that vapor. And also fill your car up first thing in the morning when the temperatures are cooler, because in colder temperatures, gas becomes more dense and you'll get more value for your money. Our grandparents and great-grandparents also made sure nothing went to waste. So if you have something in a tube like this, take your scissors and cut the end off, and you will be surprised at how much product there is still left inside. And it will be enough for you to use for another few days or a week even. And you can use this with toothpaste, with hand cream, with lip balm, makeup, anything that comes in a tube, and you'll get the most value of everything that you've bought. The next thing is make use of frozen fruit and vegetables. Sometimes we get busy and tired in the week and we just don't get to all of the fresh produce that's in the fridge, and it ends up in the trash at the end of the week. So if this is something that you struggle with from time to time, making use of frozen vegetables can be a big money saver because it reduces the amount of produce that you're throwing away, and just making this simple switch can save you hundreds of dollars every year. And yes, frozen fruit and vegetables is just as nutritious as fresh. Also, before you go to the grocery store, make sure you scan your fridge for another couple of items that you could use to make another meal or two that might otherwise be thrown out. And just doing this simple thing will save you a little bit of money every week. So in my fridge this week, I have this little container of leftover rice and beans, and it's not enough to make a meal. So I also have a head of cabbage here that I didn't get to this week, and I have a little bit of leftover onion. So I'm gonna grab a couple of tomatoes out of my garden, chop all of this up together, add some chicken broth, and this is gonna make an amazing fall soup. Here's another great way to reuse something. So you see these lids that come on the Kraft Parmesan cheese with the shaker top? Hang on to them because they fit mason jars perfectly. So you can fill this with flour or sugar or anything else that you like to shake out, and you've got a perfect lid. Another aspect of simple intentional living is maintaining what we have. And if you have some wood furniture that has some minor scratches or scuffs, an oil and vinegar solution works great to fade any imperfections and help your furniture look great and last as long as possible. So what I have here is some olive oil, but you can use sunflower oil, vegetable oil, whatever you have. So I'm going to put in 3 tablespoons of oil and 1 tablespoon of vinegar and mix that up in a little bowl, and I'll show you how great this works. In my dining room here, I have this little cabinet, and of course if we look at it, we can see it's just got some signs of wear and some scuffs, and it looks like it needs a little bit of help. All right, so I'm just dipping my rag in, and you don't need very much, and we're just gonna start rubbing. So here's how it looks after I rub the oil and vinegar solution into it, and it looks way, way better. And as you can see, it didn't take away every single imperfection, but it did blur everything, and I would say it reduced all of the imperfections by about 70%. So considering I don't have to refinish this now, I'm pretty happy with that result. To get the most out of your candles, trim the wicks down to 1/4 of an inch, and they will burn slower and last much longer. To make your laundry detergent go further, for a regular load of laundry, use 1 tablespoon of laundry detergent, and to that add 1/4 cup of baking soda. And not only will your clothes come out clean, but they will be nice and fresh because the baking soda will deodorize them. And to make your clothes last longer, turn your clothes inside out before washing them, because doing this helps protect the outside of your clothes from snagging and rubbing and fading while being washed, and it just helps to cut down on general wear and tear to the outside of your clothes. Also, when laundering your clothes, use less heat. You can wash your clothes in cold water and they get just as clean unless they're excessively dirty. Cold water works just fine. And heat will actually break down the fibers of your clothing and fade the colors much quicker, especially if they're made out of stretchy fabrics. And also, don't use as much heat in your dryer. You might want to throw them in for a few minutes just to get the wrinkles out, but then you can just hang them up or lay them flat to dry and your clothes will last much, much longer. Also, don't feel the need to jump on every new electronic that's out there. I have an iPhone 8 that is still going strong and it works for what I need it for, so I'm just going to keep using it until it breaks. And here's a great trick to help your salad greens last longer as well. If you purchase them or if you grow your own, if you have a container like this, that is fantastic. So what I do is I just take a couple of paper towels and lift up the greens in the middle and put one in there, and then take a second paper towel and put that right over the top and close the lid. And this will help absorb any moisture that's in the lettuce and it will help it last far longer in the fridge. Just change the paper towel out every few days as it gets moist and it will stay fresh for at least a couple of weeks in the fridge. Next, we're going to take some day-old bread and turn it into something delicious. So here I have some dinner rolls that I made a couple of days ago. In a bowl, I have a cup of milk, and to that I'm going to add about 1/8 of a cup of melted butter, half a teaspoon or so of paprika, some garlic powder, and an egg. So I'm taking my day-old buns, I'm going to dip both sides in the egg mixture and then dredge it in the Parmesan cheese so that it's well covered. And I'm going to put it on a baking sheet. Pop them in the oven at 400 degrees for about 4 or 5 minutes. And here's what they look like after they're done. You can put some parsley or basil on them and it's a perfect appetizer or snack. The most important thing in all of this is to have an attitude of thankfulness and to have the realization that the things that we take for granted, others are praying for. And if we keep this in mind, it can go a long way into keeping our wants and our needs in the proper perspective. So it's good to be thankful for everything that we have. With this in mind, thank you so much for joining me today. Stay well, everyone, and we'll catch you in the next one.